From ancient kings and emperors to industrial monopolists who accumulated massive amounts of wealth through outright power grabbing, territorial domination, inheritance, hostile takeovers, or simply through genius business-minded strategies. Either way you slice or dice it, here's a video that you're never going to forget. That'd be your cue to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Number 10. Alan Rufus, $194 billion. For the 10th entry on our list, we have Alan Rufus, aka Alan Arazuka, Alan the Red. Alan Rufus was the first Lord of Richmond and was the nephew of William the Conqueror and loyal die-hard companion, especially during the Norman conquest of England. Alan the Red lived from 1040 to 1093 AD. By 1086, Alan Rufus had become one of the richest and most powerful men of England, next only to King William I. He was the most powerful magnate in East Anglia and Yorkshire, and possessed a tremendous amount of property in London, Normandy, and in Britain. It's been said that he died with £11,000, which amounted to 7% of England's GDP at the time. That £11,000 would now amount to over $194 billion US. Number 9. Henry Ford, $200+ billion. The name Henry Ford surely rings a bell to all. Henry Ford is one of the most iconic figures in American business history, having founded the Ford Motor Company, and his name is legendary because he revolutionized vehicle manufacturing and provided affordable automobiles to the masses. Over 1 million vehicles were sold by Ford Motor Company in 1920 alone. Ford was also a visionary in other ways, as he was a pioneer of instituting higher wages for workers and implementing his own development of the assembly line technique for mass production. This allowed cheaper manufacturing costs that trickled to more affordable products for the people. Aside from revolutionizing transportation in general, he provided the possibility for average Joes to own their own automobile while amassing quite the wealth in the process, which overall played a major factor in the economy. Number 8. Cornelius Vanderbilt, $202 billion. One of the most known names in America, Cornelius Vanderbilt was the epitome of capitalistic ventures, having his own rags-to-riches story, which he built during his lifetime. Born to a struggling family in Staten Island, he eventually built his fortune through railroad construction and developing shipping lines during the 1800s. This led Cornelius to a vast fortune and his label as the patriarch of one of the wealthiest and most influential families in America. Vanderbilt improved and expanded America's transportation infrastructure, which led to the transformation of the United States because cities and towns would eventually bloom from nearby Vanderbilt projects. Number 7. Osman Ali Khan Asajja VIII, $230 billion. The last known ruler of the princely state of Hyderabad in India, Mir Osman Ali Khan ascended to the throne in 1911 at only 25 years of age and ruled until 1948 before Hyderabad was annexed by India. His Exalted Highness, the Nizam of Hyderabad, was Time magazine's richest person in the world in 1937. He was described as a benevolent ruler who focused on education, science, and infrastructure, and installed electricity, constructed airports, and of course roads and railways in the region. Osman Ali Khan established many of the public institutions still operating within the city today. The Nizam had so much wealth, he used 185-carat Jacob diamond as paperweight decor and stationery on his desk. How is this possible? He also controls the money for a nation that doesn't have to care about laws. And Osman Ali Khan controlled his own mint and had legendary chests and rooms of jewels and gold. Number 6. Andrew Carnegie, $337 billion. Next on the list, we have another legendary name that is common in many households at least 20 years ago. The key figure in the expansion of the U.S. steel industry in the late 19th century, Scottish-American Andrew Carnegie was an industrialist and a philanthropist. At only 12 years old, he left his family's one-room house to immigrate to the United States in 1848. From there, he worked his way as a telegrapher and started investing in the railroad industry, until his Carnegie Steel Company later merged with J.P. Morgan's U.S. Steel in 1901. U.S. Steel became the largest steel producer at the time and the largest corporation in the world. In the last 2 decades of his life, Carnegie decided to focus on philanthropy, and he was very serious about that because he ended up giving away $350 million to charities, foundations, and universities. That amount back then currently converts to $5.2 billion. Number 5. John D Rockefeller, $367 billion. At number 5, we have another American on the list. The business magnate widely considered as the wealthiest American of all time and the richest man in modern history, John D. Rockefeller, grew to prominence as the co-founder of Standard Oil Company. At one point, Rockefeller controlled 90% of all oil in the United States, and this meant that he had a significant interest in shipping, mining, banking, railroads, and other industries. He was a key figure in the development of sources of energy and the early petroleum industry. Regarding his philanthropic ventures, he founded 2 colleges during his lifetime, Rockefeller University and the University of Chicago. Number 4. Mansa Musa I of Mali, $415 billion. From 1312 and 25 years afterwards, the emperor of the Mali Empire and Islamic West African state, Mansa Musa, ascended to the throne as the 10th Mansa. He's number 4 on our list because his Mali Empire was the largest producer of gold in the world at the time. As a matter of fact, Musa had half of the world's supply of gold at his control. With this much clout, he was able to expand his territory by conquering 24 cities and their surrounding districts. He was able to obtain his reign because he focused on the economy, construction, and education. Number 3. King Solomon of Israel, $2.2 trillion. Basing from biblical tradition, King Solomon was the 3rd and last kingdom of Israel, who was particularly known for his wisdom, building accomplishments, and prolific philosophies, and the myth that he was a favorite of God, yet able to control demons. It's said he was born in 1010 BCE, with Solomon being the 10th son of King David, and reigned for 40 years in what is more known as the Golden Age of Israel. Passages from the Bible indicate that the Israelite monarchy gained its highest wealth and splendor during this time, accounting to regular tributes collected which amounted to more than 18 tons of gold per year. Number 2. Caesar Augustus, $4.63 trillion. For number 2 on our list, we have another outstanding historical figure. Caesar Augustus was the first Roman Empire and the founder of the Roman Participate, or the first phase of the Roman Empire. He reigned from 27 BC to 14 AD, and as emperor, he held a personal fortune equal to 20% of the entire empire's massive wealth, which would amount to trillions in today's conversion. His reign increased the Roman Empire, having successfully conquests and annexations of territories such as Pannonia, Noricum, Dalmatia, and areas of Africa, including Egypt. Number 1. Genghis Khan, hundreds of trillions. Genghis Khan, originally named Temujin, the founder and the first great Khan of the vast Mongol Empire, deserves reverence as he united the Mongol tribes under his rule and launched invasions that conquered most of Eurasia. His empire stretched as far west as Poland and Europe. So, to the victor goes the spoils, and his invasions amassed overflows of spoils, which he distributed among his loyal subjects. In his lifetime, he expanded the Mongol Empire to conquering up to 12 million square miles of land, which in today's value would be in the tremendous hundreds of trillions of dollars. So which of these historical figures are most interesting in your opinion? Sound off in the comment section below, and as usual, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Until next time.